So we're back from Denmark and we are ready to make the changes. I'm ready, we're ready. So every thought we've had about the things we need to do pretty much worked out after a week of trying to fit the clothes in, getting to certain things and getting in and out of the bed and stuff like that. The back end has got to change. So just to run you through a few things that have got to change. Mainly the first one is to drop the height of the bed. So that's the mattress model and that is the firmness of it, and this is the same name and firmness as the one we have in our bed at home. Currently the mattress kind of comes to roughly the same height as the window. The problem we've got is that we measured off one side, not the other, so this window is actually lower than that one, as you can see. So we're going to measure from the height of this window so that it comes down 4 inches. That should then give us enough on this side that we don't need this perspex there, so the blinds and the pillowcases don't sort of touch at night. Obviously that means taking the bed out in its entirety, and then all of this kind of stuff is all going to be taken out underneath. So everything that you see back there, all the wood bits on that side, down here, that's going, and the same again on that side. So all the wood at the back down here, it's all coming out. And another major change I'm going to make as well is all the 240 volt sockets that are wired in the van currently through to the Sergeant system, which are mainly wired up so that when you plug in on site, the sockets come live with 230 volts. What I'm going to do is change everything then, so it comes from the inverter. So basically the inverter is going to supply my mains electricity, and if we do go on site and plug in, all that's going to do is actually charge the batteries. Everything else is still going to work the same way. Doing that way so that when I'm using solar or when we're on site, everything's going to be working the same way and we get more use out of the inverter that way, I guess, as well. So my next refit really is all about taking out the original auto fail stuff, lowering the bed, refitting all this kind of stuff, so finding a better way to store everything that's under there and a better way to store everything that's inside there. And then once that's done, lower the bed and find a better storage system than these boxes we've been using. So this has been our storage system, and that's okay for storing things so they don't move around, you know, that's great. But so far it's a bit of a pain to go underneath there at night to get one little thing that might be at the bottom of that box. So I'm trying to find a way of making something maybe like sliding drawers in and out, or just smaller boxes and a racking system so that everything fits in there, but it's more easily accessible for the single items and stuff like that. The other bit of an issue we've had as well is that I didn't fasten down all the slats, and as you're travelling these slats are moving. So the other night, in the middle of the night, that happened to Mandy. So she's lying here and all of a sudden these failed. So in the middle of the night we had to come under the bed and try and figure out how to put all these slats back in like that. Oh, and as you can see, it's difficult. So what I'm going to do is try and work out how to fasten them in. What I'm thinking of mainly is that I put a small hole in the edge of the slat, drill it, and then put a screw in, but not screw it down like I've done there. Just have it so the screw goes over the hole, and that means then when you actually put pressure on it, it can flex and move just a tiny amount. Hopefully that'll work a little bit better. So just in case you're new to this channel, this is obviously one of the areas I'm talking about of wasted space. So they've put obviously the controls for the power there, which is great because it means, you know, easy access. However, you've got this wasted space behind then, and then you've got all this boxed in section over the top of the wheel arches to create a seat, but that's just absolutely totally wasted space. You got more of the heating system there. Again, you know, have they installed it at the best use of the space that's behind there? Who knows? But yeah, all this is being ripped out, so we're keeping up until this board, and we're keeping that back board there, but everything else is coming out. That's the rat's nest of wires that are behind it. All these wires just dangling around. An auto fail have just left them there, not even cut them to length or anything like that, just absolutely just curled them around, left them there sitting on top of each other doing God knows what. So you imagine, number one, the amount of money that is sat there being wasted because the cables were made too long, and number two, the amount of money wasted as the owner of one of these vans in fuel and everything else, carrying around what could be in excess of 2 or 3 kilos of weight of wire that is just too long. Why don't they just order it so it's the right length? Because I want to mount this up there or there, wherever's more easily accessible, and what I don't want is to carry around all that excess cable for the next blinking 10 or 15 years. No thank you very much. A lot of people have been saying you've had a solar panel glued to your roof without thinking about the paintwork that's on the roof, and without caring to bolt it down or anything like that, and that could be flying off as you go down the motorway. So what I thought I'd do is I'll show you how strong it is even after a year of being on the roof. So as you can see, that solar panel's going nowhere. So taking a look at other things as well, like say for example the floor, how much insulation is in the floor? It's got these drop-out vents there for the gas, so I thought I'll just pull out the drop-out vent and see. So there we go, pulled out the drop-out vent, and you can see there all it is ply, then the floor, and then nothing. So there is no insulation whatsoever in the floor. All they've basically done is chuck plywood on top of the van floor and then put lino on top of that. So this phase is a little bit more tricky, mainly because of all the electrics. So I'm having to take this one apart a little bit more gently than that side. That side came out in pretty much one piece, but this side I'm going to have to basically take out all the different electrics and the battery and the fuse panel and the inverter and everything like that before I can then take all this out. So the solar panel's now disconnected, and that's capped off. I'm just going to have to do the same with the batteries now. So this is going to be a bit of a pig, but worth it I guess. Look at that for a void. Look at all that space just wasted. So that's it ripped out now. Everything is now taken out, and we now need to do things with that and work out around where they've fitted things. For example, where they've come up for the water pipes there. So there we go, that's the back of the van all cleared out now. Basically probably needs about another hour just to clean it all out. I'm then going to see if I can reroute some of the water pipes that they've just gone across under the floor. They've not even sealed the hole where the water pipe goes under the floor. There's just a big hole there. Just honestly, it's crazy. So that needs sorting out in some way, shape or form so that I can utilise that area better, because everything I can place between the two axles for weight will be far better. better weight balance and everything in the vehicle. You should always have your weight between the two axles if you can, and obviously balanced side to side and front to back as well. That's even better. Maybe a bit more weight on your traction axle. Other than that, that's about it really. So yeah, probably got an hour or two left just to tidy it all up, and then obviously I need to sit down and work out where I'm going to put things, and also what needs to be changed, and go through the wiring and stuff like that. So yeah, it's probably going to take a bit longer than I anticipated, basically because of the wiring and plumbing and the way they've routed things. So a bit of work is probably going to be needed to make it better for all year round usage, that's for sure.